The first inkling I had that something could be wrong was when I drove up to the building that the hematologist was in, and it said, Cancer Care Northwest. I'm Vicki Jones. I'm 71 years old. I am retired now. 20 years ago, when I was 51, I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. It's funny because I felt better than I had in my life. I had a checkup, and the doctor said my protein levels were high. She insisted I had to go to see a hematologist, and so I did. And a few days later, there we were, my husband and I, sitting there in his office, and the hematologist told us that the dreaded news, I had cancer. It was multiple myeloma. I had never heard of it. So I went home and prepared to die. I started figuring out which of my favorite possessions would go to which of my favorite people. And I remember being really sad to think that I would never know what it would be like to be an old woman. But we went on. We started treatment right away. And treatment back then was a real chemo. I was an emotional train wreck because of the steroids. Thank God my husband didn't leave me. He just put his arms around me and said, I understand. And within, I guess it was 3 months or so, the numbers were good enough that the doctor was able to start preparing me for a stem cell transplant. Eventually, I relapsed again. And by that time, there was a new drug on the market called Velcade. And I was put on that. That lasted for 4 years. So this kept happening over the years. I would be on a drug. It would quit working. I would slowly relapse, but a new drug would be out. And it happened over and over. Last October, I started talquetamab. I lost most of my taste, and I'd also lost all my fingernails, but I can live with that because the drug works. There are 2 words that I use all the time. One is progress, and the other is progression. I talk about the progress that cancer research is making, and it's a very positive thing. It's a wonderful thing. And I talk about the progression of my disease, and that's a horrible thing. It's an insidious thing that won't stop. I am so lucky that progress in cancer research has been faster than the progression of my disease. So through the years, as these drugs began to work for me, and I started to see that maybe new drugs were coming out that would continue to work for me, I stopped planning for my death and started trying to live. My husband and I started going to Arizona in the winter. We started doing some traveling. I bought myself a convertible. I always said to my husband, if I'm gonna work so hard to stay alive, I need to live. That would talk him into just about anything. What I would say to Congress is, I work really hard to live well with cancer. Do everything you can to fund fighting cancer. We've got the momentum. So many things have improved in the last 20 years. We're making progress. We can't let that stop. We can eradicate this beastly disease. They have it in their hands. They can do it. Do it.